Most people think getting weaker is just a part of aging, but the truth is there are 7 everyday habits that are secretly stealing your leg strength and making you feel decades older than you actually are. Let's start with the most overlooked habit, one that quietly affects almost all of us and is one of the biggest reasons your legs keep getting weaker. Habit number 1 is sitting too much during the day. A 2015 study revealed that excessive sitting doesn't just make you feel stiff, it accelerates sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle loss. And this impacts the biggest muscles in our legs, our glutes, quads, and our calves. But here is something surprising that the study found. Even people who were otherwise active and walked regularly still lost muscle if they sat too much. In other words, general physical activity didn't cancel out the effects of excessive sitting. But here is the good news. There's an approach that can reverse the negative effects of sitting, and they're called movement snacks. Quick bursts of movement throughout your day, like standing up every hour to do 10 heel raises or a few mini squats during TV commercials. Now I'll show you exactly how to do these in detail at the end of the video, but for now this brings up a much bigger question. Why do our muscles get weaker in the first place, even for active people? It comes down to a foundational principle in health and nature. Use it or lose it. When we stop challenging our muscles, especially in the legs, our body gets a clear message. You're not using this anymore, I'm going to stop maintaining it. Instead, it redirects energy elsewhere, like storing fat or simply conserving resources. Think of it like a neglected garden. At first, everything looks fine, but over time, the plants start to wilt and soil dries out. The same happens to our unused muscle, a process called disused muscle atrophy. And when combined with natural age-related muscle loss, aka sarcopenia, this becomes the biggest reason why people over 50 and 60 struggle with walking, stairs, and balance. But here's the bright side. Like any neglected garden, your muscles can absolutely grow back. You just need to turn the hose back on. And one of the best ways to do that is through progressive strength training, which not only prevents muscle wasting, but reverses it. Which brings us to the second habit that keeps people weak, even when they think they're doing everything right. Habit number 2 is avoiding strength training. Let me tell you about Mary, one of my patients in her 60s, who tripled her walking endurance in just 3 months. When I first met Mary, she was incredibly frustrated. She exercised every single day, sometimes over an hour, but despite all that effort, she felt weaker and slower each year. But here's what changed everything. After just 3 months of simple progressive strength training, Mary went from struggling to reach her mailbox to climbing stairs with ease and walking pain-free for over an hour. So what was Mary doing wrong? Her daily workouts were almost entirely walking and stretching, and this is the biggest mistake I see with adults over 50. Now don't get me wrong, I love walking and stretching, they're fantastic for overall movement and flexibility, but they're simply not enough to maintain or rebuild muscle strength. What your legs actually need are load-bearing, muscle-activating movements, things like sit-to-stands, step-ups, or resistance band work. That's what tells your body, keep this muscle, I still need it. Without these signals, the decline continues no matter how much you walk. Now that you understand why strength training is so crucial, there's one more critical mistake you need to avoid. And it's something I see constantly with my motivated patients who are finally ready to get stronger. Habit number 3 is overdoing exercise. A few years ago, I worked with Mike, a patient in his early 60s who had recently retired and loved gardening and playing with his granddaughter. When he first came to see me, just bending forward sent his pain soaring to a 9 out of 10. He could barely tie his shoes, let alone chase his granddaughter around the yard. I gave him a simple plan, 3 exercises and a short daily walk. That's it. But by the next visit, his pain had gotten worse. So what happened? Well, because one day Mike felt so good that he tripled the repetitions I had prescribed. And like many motivated patients, Mike fell into the more is better trap. Doing too much too soon caused him to crash and nearly give up entirely. So we hit reset, he cut the volume and spaced out his workouts and followed one simple rule: 2 to 3 days of strength training per week with rest days in between, using what we call the traffic light rule. This is where the green light represents 0 to 3 pain, where it feels good, minimal discomfort, so you can keep going. Yellow light is 4 to 6 pain, where there is some discomfort. At this point you need to slow down and monitor, and red light is 7 plus pain. This is sharp, lingering pain, and this means you need to stop and modify. 6 weeks later, Mike was pain-free, walking 20 minutes a day and back to gardening without fear. This brings us to another crucial piece most people miss, something I got wrong when I first started my own fitness journey. Habit number 4 that keeps you weaker than you should be is neglecting recovery and protein. Think of building muscle like a three-legged stool. You need all three legs to stay stable. Progressive strength training, adequate sleep, and sufficient protein. Remove any one of these and the whole thing collapses. I learned this the hard way early in my fitness journey when I was doing everything right, never missing a session, but after 2 months, I wasn't getting stronger. I'd even gained weight around my belly and was ready to quit. Looking back, I was only sleeping 5 to 6 hours a night and eating maybe 40 grams of protein daily, which was not enough. No wonder my muscles were not getting stronger. And here's what most people don't realize. Your muscles don't get stronger during exercise. They get stronger during recovery. Sleep is when your body repairs and builds muscle tissue, and protein provides the building blocks your muscles need to rebuild even stronger. Now, people over 50 need even more protein to fight sarcopenia, about 0.8 to 1 grams per pound of body weight daily. So if you weigh 150 pounds, aim for roughly 150 grams of protein per day. Once I started prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of sleep and increased my protein intake, my strength gains took off. And within months, I was amazed at how much stronger I felt. So remember, rest days between strength sessions aren't lazy days, they're growth days. Focus on good sleep and good protein. But here's the thing, even when you get sleep and protein right, there's one more habit that keeps people stuck at the same strength level for years. Habit number 5 is doing the same routine and never progressing. If the principle use it or lose it gets a gold medal, then progressive overload deserves a close silver. Let me explain this concept using a garden analogy. Your muscles are like plants. Water them too little, they wilt. Too much, they drown. But if you water them just right, they grow strong. But here's the key, as plants grow bigger, they need slightly more water and more sunlight to keep thriving. Progressive overload works the same way. You gradually increase the challenge as your muscles adapt. Maybe it's adding one more repetition, holding a squat a few seconds longer, or using a slightly heavier resistance band. The biggest mistake I see is people doing the same routine for months, even years, and then wondering why they're not getting stronger. Your body is incredibly smart. Once it adapts to a challenge, that exercise becomes maintenance, not growth. Without progression, your muscles have no reason to get stronger, which leads us to our next habit that keeps us weaker over time. Habit number 6 is letting fear or pain stop you from moving. Many people avoid exercising or strength training because they're afraid of pain or re-injury. And I get it, I live the same fear myself. At 21, I developed chronic pain that controlled every aspect of my life. For years, I avoided exercise because it hurt in the moment. But here's what took me years to learn. Exercise was actually helping me long-term despite the short-term discomfort. The breakthrough came when I realized that with proper guidance and a safe, well-structured routine, strength training doesn't just reduce pain, it builds resilience. So it's completely normal to feel some discomfort during exercise. It just means your muscles are adapting and getting stronger. But the key is to learn the difference between safe soreness and pain that signals that something is wrong. My go-to phrase for myself and my patients, especially if your pain level is under 7, is sore but safe. And remember our traffic light rule. Green means go, yellow means proceed with caution, and red means stop and modify. The bottom line is fear of movement keeps you weak, but movement done safely makes you strong. And this is exactly what I teach inside my program Strong Leg 60, where you'll learn how to build stronger legs in just 1 hour a week without the gym, without any guesswork or joint pain. It includes step-by-step exercise routines designed for adults 50 plus to restore mobility and stay independent while doing the activities you love. You can check it out by clicking the link in the description below, because getting stronger after 50 shouldn't feel like a struggle. Which brings me to our final habit, and honestly this might be the most important one. Habit number 7 is waiting for motivation. I once had a patient named Carol who kept telling me, I'll start when I feel more motivated, or I'll begin next month when things settle down. Months went by and she was still waiting for that perfect moment. Finally, I convinced her to just try one exercise for 1 week. No pressure, no big commitment. By day 3, she was already adding a second exercise because she felt a tiny bit stronger. That small action sparked the motivation she'd been waiting for. So here's the truth. Action comes first, motivation follows. You don't need to feel excited or ready. The strongest people I know didn't start because they felt motivated. They started small, stayed consistent, and let their progress fuel their drive. So don't wait for January 1st, Monday, or when you feel like it. The best time to start getting stronger is right now. And speaking speaking of starting now, let me show you exactly how with 3 simple movement snacks that can build serious leg strength, and you can do them all at home. Exercise number 1 is a slow chair squat. This is what every person over 50 needs to do because it strengthens your glutes and quadriceps, the biggest muscle in your legs. Strengthen these 2 muscles and stair climbing and long walks become a breeze. Start with your feet shoulder width apart, hands straight out in front. You can use armrests if needed. Bend through your hips, then knees, and slowly lower yourself down. Push through your heels and power back up using your thighs and glutes. Do 10 repetitions 2 to 3 times per day, and it's perfect during TV time or while reading. This was the game changer for Mary, helping her climb stairs with ease. Now that we strengthened these 2 upper leg muscles, let's focus on our lower legs, our calves. Exercise number 2 is one that helped Mary triple her walking distance in just weeks. Face a chair with hands hovering or lightly touching for support. Push through your toes and lift your heels up, imagining going straight up without leaning forward. Hold for 3 seconds, then return down and lift your toes up. Rock back and forth for 10 heel raises, 10 toe raises. Repeat 3 times per day. This is a fantastic ankle and calf strengthening exercise that is perfect to do while brushing teeth or at the kitchen sink. Now that we built strength in our upper and lower legs, here's the exercise that ties it all together. One that builds incredible endurance you'll actually feel in your everyday life. Exercise number 3 is the isometric sumo squat or the modified horse stance. Use your kitchen counter or chair for support. Spread your feet wide with toes slightly outwards. Now while avoiding your knees from caving in, slowly lower until your knees and hips reach roughly 90 degrees. Then hold. Start with 10-second holds and work your way up to 30 seconds or even a minute, repeating for 2 to 3 times per day. This exercise not only improves ankle and hip mobility, but also builds serious quadricep strength and endurance for better walking, stairs, and balance. So now that you know these 3 simple exercises you can do at home, here is something even more exciting. Did you know you can build incredible full body strength and improve every aspect of your daily life with just 10 moves? Click on this video here where I'll show you the only 10 exercises you need after 50. I'll see you there.